Serious, and today's video is our 10 top tips to help you chip better, get it close to the flag and help you lower the scores. So when we're out on the golf course, no matter how many greens you think you're going to hit, we're always going to miss some greens. It's important that we've got the tools in the armoury in our locker to help us chip the ball closer to help us lower those scores out on the golf course. So step number one, we're going to bring you round and we're going to talk about posture. So our first tip is that we don't want to sit down and squat into it. That's going to cause a load of issues. It's going to cause havoc with contact and directional control. So we want to feel like we stand nice and tall. We're going to creep in a little bit closer, tilt from the hips and grip down it a little bit. This will give me a nice position where I feel like my arms are just hanging, ready to just hit the shot. So tip number two is all about our setup and our stance. One thing we see all the time is that people try and hit a chip shot like they're trying to hit a shorter version of a full shot. We need to adopt a different setup, a different stance. So we're going to have our feet where it's no more than one club head width apart. We're going to flare that left foot. We're going to come in a little bit closer and we're going to choke down on that grip. From here, we just lean the shaft, pointing at our left hip, a little bit of weight placed on that left side, and again, we're good to go. When it comes to tip number three, it's all about changing your grip. And we don't mean about how you place your hands on it, we just mean about the tension through the hands. So when I'm set up to that chip shot, I've adopted that new setup. We don't want to feel like we're squeezing the life out of that grip. I don't want too much tension through the forearms. This is going to cause all kinds of issues. Nice little soft grip pressure, about 4 or 5 out of 10. And then from there, that's going to help us have some flow in the swing and hit better shots. Top tip number four is that we want to understand your chipping stroke. We don't want to be stood in here, we don't want to let the arms swing aimlessly. We want to build a triangular setup. So you can see here I'm going to keep my forearms nice and close together, and in that swing I'm going to keep the club head nice and low for this chip and run shot, maintaining this triangle that I've set up. I'm going to move this triangle back and forwards, keeping that club head nice and low, and that's going to help me get good contact and execute a really good chip and run shot. When it comes to our top tip number five, it's all about getting a feel for the stroke. So for this shot here, it's a little bit difficult. I've got a little bit of ground that I'm not sure how it's going to respond. The first thing I need to do is build that setup. I'm going to choose a landing spot. I know the lie's pretty good, and I'm going to just try and have a feel for some practice swings to get a feel for A, how the club goes through the grass, and then B, I'm looking at that landing spot and trying to match the tempo and the power that I'm going to place in this swing with the outcome I want the ball to go. So we build that shot. I've had a couple of practice swings and then we execute it. Go in, go in. Oh, robbed. Our top tip number six is all about changing ball position to change the trajectory of the shot. My stock ball position is going to be slightly back in the stance, which is going to help encourage a bit of shaft lean, which is going to help me hit that lower launching chip and run shot. I'm going to play that one here, but what we can also do is move that ball slightly further forward in the stance, which then is going to take some of that shaft lean out, which is going to help me increase the elevation on this chip. So let's play that low launching chip and run. We move the ball slightly back in the stance. I lean a little bit left and get this club at the left hip, and then from there we keep it nice and low where it launches low, runs down the hill, and should end up pretty good. When it comes to top tip number seven, it's all about understanding how the ball and the journey of that ball is going to get to its destination. The destination is the flag in this situation, and we're going to decide whether we're going to try and carry that ball a third and get it to run 2/3, or whether we're going to try and get that ball to fly in the air 2/3 and then only run a third. So we've got two shots here. We're going to try and get the first one to land on the first portion of the green. So we're going to try and let it land a third, and it's going to run out 2/3. I'm going to come in, I'm going to have a feel for that shot. It's going to be quite a low trajectory. And it runs on down there. The next shot, I'm going to have a feel for the shot. I'm going to try and get this one to land 2/3. So I've got to try and get this shot to land on the bottom of the slope this time. I'm going to move that ball slightly further forward in the stance, and I'm going to increase the swing length to match the intention and the feel of the shot. Everything to this point has all been geared around technique, hitting better chip shots and making better contact. But now top tip number 8 is all about getting to know your distances and improving your distance control. This stage is all about you exploring, practicing, doing the same stroke with different clubs to help you understand how the club and ball react differently, to get you different distances and help you get the ball closer in different scenarios. And top tip number 9 is all about making sure that you do your preparation and you warm up before you go out on the golf course. All top athletes warm up before they do any kind of sport, and you're no different. Make sure you get down to the course a little bit earlier, hit some chip shots from some different lies using different clubs, and that's going to help you prepare yourself ready for your round of golf. And top tip number 10 is just practice, practice, practice. If you need to, grab some alignment canes, just make sure that your alignment with the target is good, make sure that you've got a reference for ball position, and don't forget to get down and practice. And there's a wrap on our top 10 chipping tips to help you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, add a comment down below. Let me know what the best chipping tip you've ever received is. And don't forget, head over to golfingcurious.com to find out a whole host of articles, tips, tricks, and advice to help you and your game.